Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm live. It's Georgia, live with Georgia on YouTube. We have a perfect screen. I just can't get this right. There we go. All right. The tapestry's in there. Live with Georgia, $10 tarot questions, 100% of the proceeds go to Friends of Creacon program, which the link is in the description below. If you want to know more about Creacon Wellness Retreat, you'll find them at creaconwellnessretreat.com, and they have a program called Friends of Creacon where you send in money and in exchange you connect to the wonderful energy of the place called Creacon Wellness Retreat. And that's where 100% of my proceeds tonight are going. So if you buy, Linda, hi. So nice to see you. If you buy a reading from me tonight, it's $10 per question, although we often ask many questions in one. I'm just going to keep trying to get the camera right. It's probably not going to happen. Here we go. 100% of that $10 that you send to me, I will send to Creacon. And at the end of the month, when I put all of that money together, your name will go on the list and you'll receive that energy exchange. Charlie, hi, how are you? And another really good thing tonight is that we are covering the cups 1 to 10. Isn't that wonderful? You can see in the corner here my daughter's eye chart. There we go. We'll cover it up. Oh, good. So welcome, ladies. How's your day going? How's spring? Let me know how you're doing. Linda did the course with me recently. Learned how to read the tarot using the Smith-Waite tarot deck. Have you been using your deck? Did you pull it out? Have you been pulling any cards? Linda, let me know how you're going. One of the most essential things for learning how to read the tarot is journaling, doing readings, practice readings, harassing your friends as I did. I'd take them everywhere. I pull the cards out. Want a reading? What would the cards say? Let's see what the cards say. And, it was learning a language, learning to have a database of information about the symbols you see on the card that you could draw on almost immediately. So you learn through practice, you learn through picking the cards up, you learn through using them in a live Q&A. And then when you realize, oh, that cup, means an emotion, means this, then the next time you see a cup, you'll think of that. And because it was in a live interactive session with someone else. So have you had any practice? Oh, you have. So Linda says she's opened it up. Of course. It was a great course. It was a great course. We had a great day. It was so wonderful. And you love the deck? Great. They're really easy to use. Did you get the borderless deck? I can't remember if you got the borderless deck. So this is the deck that doesn't have any white around it. And you just get more of the picture in the card. So, it's quite fun that way. And someone sent in some money. Did either of you, Charlie or Linda, did you send in some money? I just saw someone send in $10 and I'm not quite sure who it's from. Let me know if it was you. I think that came through in one of my inboxes. So, we could, oh, here we go, Linda. Oh, Linda, thank you so much. You paid for a reading tonight. I didn't see that. You did write that. Wonderful. So that was you. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Happy to support Creacon, absolutely. And you are supporting yourself in the process because that money is a win-win. So the money you send to Creacon sends you good, loving energy. And isn't that something? For people who are familiar with Creacon Wellness Retreat, you know what you're getting in exchange. There's a very soft, nurturing, divine, feminine energy, which is very, very strong, very, very strong, and at the same, very supportive and very nurturing at the same time. It was me, she says. Oh, that's awesome. So let me know what kind of a reading you'd like. Let me know. Did you choose a card for the day for yourself? Should we choose a card for ourselves today? Why not? You have an Arjun question. Wonderful. Let's do it. You know that there's a movie. Have you seen that movie on Netflix? I only say this because I was searching on Netflix. Sometimes when I make malas, and that's one of the sacred art pieces that I make, I do watercolor paintings. And Linda Drost has quite a few of mine now, don't you, Linda? And malas, I make 108 beaded malas. and I often string them together. So I'll make a knot between each bead. It's very meditative. And when I make the malas, I like to watch inspiring or spiritual movies, or I'm always very conscious of what I'm doing when I'm making the mala. And more often than not, I'm reaching for some spiritual talk or spirit, just to lift the vibration of the mala and myself when I'm making the malas. And I was looking for anything on the Bhagavad Gita, any sort of Netflix films, anything on, and there's one called Arjun. And it's literally about the Bhagavad Gita, but it starts at it's the story of the Bhagavad Gita, but it starts to tell, it comes in at an interesting section. And it's very sort of real, telling the story of this young man. So let's clear the, in India, a lot of people are named after the gods, and everyone has a highly spiritual name, right? So Arjun is named after the great warrior Arjuna, who is one of the main characters in the epic, the Bhagavad Gita. Well, the epic is the Mahabharata, but the Bhagavad Gita is one song of the Mahabharata, and it's a very, very important song, and it's often, interpreted. The book is interpreted. So I don't know why I'm talking about that, but here we go. Arjun and a very high spiritual connection is what we need here to answer the question. So the question is, where is his head at with regards to me? All right. So today's the 17th. We have Linda. I'm writing down everyone's name who's going to go down in the email to Creacon. Where is his head at with regards to me? He says he loves me and planning a future, but I am not convinced. All right. Now, remember that, Linda, you're not convinced because of past experience, right? So with this very same person. So what's happening, and if we can just be very mechanical about it, what's happening is that part of this non-convincedness comes from past behavior, right? Are you able to wipe the slate clean, right? Not sure if it's my fear or something I'm picking up, right? So let's do two things. Let's have a look at this with respects to, the past, the present, and the future for you and for him. So I'm going to do, this is like a relationship spread with a bit of a twist, because it's not the usual relationship spread where we're just looking at each person individually and then them together. We're now going to do a past, present, future for him and for you, specifically in relation to the relationship, right? So here we go. We're concentrating on Linda. We're choosing 3 cards for Linda. Past, in your relationship with Arjun, present, and future. Now, this is what's manifesting right now for you, right? The past and the future are all kind of mixed in, and we're going to see if we can separate them. So for Arjun, past, present, future. So I'm going to flip them over. This is for you, past, present, future, past for him, present for him, future for him. So let's have a look at you first. Now, for the past, you got the Magician. Interestingly, Linda, you got 3 major arcana in your past, present, future. You got the Magician in your past, the Sun in your present, and the High Priestess in your future. So it's interesting that this relationship is significant because of the presence of major arcana. We know this is a big relationship and a big question for you because of the weight of these cards. Now, if these were just, if these were the minor arcana, then, we'd think, well, it's just a passing fancy, or, there'll be something else. But we know it's really big. What's the good news is that you've manifested this relationship, and this is actually a really good time for you in the relationship, believe it or not, because you're looking forward to being together in some ways, because that was something that you couldn't do before with such an open heart, right? With such an open with such a clarity. I mean, if you look at the sun, there's just a real openness, there are no obstacles for you. And this is the sun. The sun has come after all the obstacles have ended, right? We've had the tower and the devil and all this darkness, and out comes the sun to say, it's a bright new day, look ahead and be happy. Right? Now, the high priestess for the future position tells us, well, it's written in the book. There's a destiny for this relationship in terms of it happening or not happening. There's a very black and white. It's either going to happen or it's not. It's it is written in the book of the Akasha. And if we were to tap into the Akasha, we would say, what are you saying right now that is, manifesting or demanifesting this relationship? So you already know, hey, I might be in fear about this, right? So part of my question is because I'm feeling I'm in fear. If I was to release that fear, I'd feel much happier. So just on a global scale, we could even say if you release the fear, release the need to even ask the question, then you're in a much better place just for yourself, for your own well-being. Right? Because fear and worry creates problems in our body. It creates a negative vibration, which we then have to lift up upon. So if we don't even engage the fear in our thoughts, then we're not going to go there. We're not going to create that vibration, right? And I know, so for example, yesterday, I was in a vibration of anger in response to an email and a conversation. And I just couldn't let it go. And as I was cooking, as I was, working with the food, I felt a lot of tension. And I was so tense that a piece of frozen meat flicked up into my teeth into my chin and jarred my top teeth with my bottom teeth. And it's so painful. It's still painful today. I mean, not extremely painful as it was yesterday, but that tells me, right, that something's out of integrity. Something's not right, because my thought created a physical act which manifested because of my thinking. So that wouldn't have happened. This jarring in my teeth wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been milking those thoughts in my mind. So we know from past experience, from this experience as an example, that our thoughts create our reality, and they create events in our life which we then have to deal with. I have a sore tooth. I don't know if it's chipped. It's like, had I not been milking those thoughts, it wouldn't have happened. I trust that. I know that, right? And so here we go. You have the power to change your thoughts and to let go of fear, because you actually have nothing to lose. Is that not the truth? You have nothing to lose. Nothing. Even if, let's say, for example, let's say the black and white poles, right, which are duality, right? Let's say the white is it goes ahead and it's wonderful and it's the best thing you've ever experienced in your life, and the black is it doesn't go ahead and it just never happens. Well, because of what you've been through in the past, you've already experienced the torture of that, so to speak. Would you want to go through that again in terms of giving yourself a hard time, or even projecting that into the future? Just let it be. Actually, if it was to happen that it didn't turn into anything, you'd be better prepared for it, only because you'd been through all of the emotions before. So you don't need to hold on to any fear of it being like that, because you've already experienced that and you've survived it. Nothing to lose. Rebecca, hi. Hi, lovey. Ali, hi. Nice to see everyone. Absolutely nothing to lose. And so the high priestess is here to say, this is a destined relationship, because it is deep enough for you, those major arcana, to bring you to this point, right? But at the moment you are free. And I would let this card, the Sun, rule your emotions and just say, you know what? I choose to be free. I choose to be free of any fear around this relationship. It's either going to happen or it isn't. And I'm just not going to stress about it, because my stress doesn't change what happens in the relationship. Actually, my stress just makes me feel bad. That's the truth. The truth is, stress just makes us feel bad. And why we milk it, I don't know. It's a program. It's an old program where our head gets stuck in a whirl and we forget We forget that we could just simply be calm and loving, right? So him, these are his cards. In the past, he's had a great time in this relationship, right? This is an abundant card. This is him being on his own or enjoying you as an abundant and being abundant in this, togetherness, right? And he sees you as this lovely lady, right? This woman of riches in a way. And often people, outside of America will view Americans in this very idolized way, in some ways, right? And then we have at the present moment his concern around money, because this is the card of concern around sort of material finances. And obviously whether he can or can't. Hi, hey. You're just watching, can't comment. Oh, you're working. It's nice to see you. It's been so long. Thanks for coming. Thanks for making a comment. That's really lovely. We don't have much longer for the show, right? We're doing cups tonight, and next week we're doing the Pentacles or the coins. And then after that, we only have 5 more weeks before we're finished. We'll be doing the suits. And I was thinking maybe we could do, all the pages together, all the knights together, all the queens together, and all the kings together, rather than doing them suit by suit, just to change it up so that we can talk about all the queens with the different. So, Irina, hello. Nice to see you. I've been thinking about you and the beautiful weather and going out to the beach. I tried to get my family interested in going to the beach today, but nobody would come with me. And we also didn't have that much time. It's like an hour and a half's drive. Oh, Ali, you made a donation. Oh, that's wonderful. 100% of the proceeds tonight are going to Friends of Creacon. And the link is in the description if you want to find out about that incredible program. So here we have him feeling a little downtrodden. So, he may have concerns around the physical aspect of the relationship, meaning you can't be together. There's some kind of barrier, or he doesn't have enough money. This is a concern around money. Shelley, hello. This is the future card for him. Now, isn't this interesting? So as a card, and we've often had this card when, there's a lot of fire and action energy around the wands, right? And pretty much every time, he's more sort of, what's the word? He's more sort of, in terms of his cards, right? You got 3 major arcana. He got 3 minor arcana. So he's mired in the details, isn't he? Right? This is the past, the present, and the future. So they're his cards, and your cards were those major arcana. You had the Magician, the Sun, and the High Priestess. I mean, big cards. And so when we're looking at his journey in this relationship, we're saying, okay, here he is experiencing you, is this abundant, available, wonderful, beautiful woman, right, that he's in love with. And then here you have, oh, I can't get there. There's difficulty, right, in his mind. And the 5s are always about difficulty. And the 8, though, is a wonderful card. The 8 is the number 8. Has a very strong karmic connection, meaning that you reap what you sow when you come around to the number 8. And this is a, plush landscape. There's water. There's abundance in available resources. So it looks like the energy changes in the future for him. He applied for a Canadian work visa and he's waiting to hear. It looks like it's going to turn out well, right? And so what's happening here is you've got action, and it's almost like if we were to say, when will he hear back? Let's have a look at that. Should we ask? Should we do a timing question? Martha, hello. Oh, Martha, did you make a donation as a gift? Did you want to gift the reading for someone else? That's wonderful. I did invite someone here tonight who said that they couldn't afford, and I really do hope that they turn up, because now they have someone. Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much, Martha. So somebody is going to get a reading for free. Woohoo! Oh, I do hope she turns up. So here we go. This is, now we're doing a timing. So what we'll do is let's have a look at weeks, shall we? This is 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So 1, 2, 3, somewhere between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Somewhere between 3 and 7 weeks is what I get. Does that sound good? Sounds good to me. Is that what you've been thinking? Because let me show you the cards. Now, this is for those of you who read the tarot. When I do timing, I put down a card for each timing period. So this is my first week card, my second week card, my third week card is very positive. For me, this shows that there's an opening at 3 weeks for him to either get his visa back, to get the receipt of the visa, right? Sorry, here it is. The receipt of the visa at 3 weeks, and then 4, 5, 6, by 7 weeks, you could very well be together. And this is the traditional marriage card. So let's see, even if we were to say that the three, you made a donation, Ali. Thank you so much. So you are next, I believe, unless there was someone else. But I think, Ali, you are the next one. So I will. And Ali, while I'm finishing up with Linda, please write down your question. Let me know if you want a general question or if you want a specific question. Give me your question. That's the way to do it. So we could, even if we took 3, 7, even if we said, okay, worst case scenario, 3 months and 7 months, it's still possible, right? But we've got the 8 of Wands in the future position, which really means it's a very quick energy. So it's almost like the future seems to be, even though at the moment there are obstacles and a bit of a challenge, the future looks like it's rushing forward, straight for you, right? This is Wands, it's fire, it's action energy. And when you have 8 of them, you have an accumulation. This is like the snowball effect, right? So it's almost like once one thing starts, the other thing happens as well. So the future looks really good, right? And I really feel like the overall card for you, Linda, is the 9 of Cups. I think you can sit back and be happy with yourself rather than go into any fear. It doesn't pay you. It won't serve you at all to go into any kind of fear, and stay happy with the way things are and actually happy with the way things are going, because they're very different to the way that they were before. You don't need to bring the past into the present or the future. It's not coming into the future. You've got the High Priestess that's saying it's destined, right? And look at all the pomegranates and the tropical. I don't know if you're planning on going on a vacation anywhere together, but there really is something very tropical. I see a beach scene. So, there'll definitely be, maybe even by the end of summer, there'll be some celebration there. So yeah, we can send some beautiful energy your way from everybody, all of us here. We can send some love and light to the Canadian visa people so that they can effortlessly and easily send Arjun his visa, right? So be it. And we send it off on angel's wings up into the universe and wish the best for you. Okay, Ali. How's everyone enjoying spring? I'm having such a great time. It's so awesome. I love all this rain. I love the rain. I love being able, it feels very much close to home. In Sydney, you could have, Sydney, Australia, that is, you could have 4 seasons in one day. It'd be cold, it'd be hot, it'd be raining, then the sun would come out for a little bit. There'd be these afternoon thunderstorms. It's almost tropical weather all year round, except you do get a bit of a winter freeze, but not like the 5 months of hibernation we get here in the Northeast. But I love these days. They're really beautiful. And all of the, this one popped out. Ali, I'm just going to leave the King of Swords out because it popped out for you. And we'll keep shuffling. So, Ali, I'm tapping into you. Ali says, I'm curious how Kay thinks or feels about me. I love your curious emoticon. Look at that. Look at you two. The other card that popped out was the Queen of Swords. So let's just assume Kay is the King of Swords and you are the Queen of Swords, right? Now, as a couple, as a couple, the king looks forward and he looks at you, and the queen, she's kind of looking away, but she's beckoning. She's kind of inviting the king in. And so even though they look like they would probably have separate bedrooms in the castle, right? You can imagine this, right? They're almost like they're not, although they are on the same mountaintop. You can see that the ground looks very similar. You've got the trees that are blowing with the wind blowing. And remember, the swords are the air element, right? The air element. So the wind is a big factor in all of the swords cards. And we talked about the swords last week. And really important to remember is the swords, the king of swords being like, was it the King Arthur and the myth, right, of the sword in the stone. And so there's something very, very magical about the king of swords. Now, he's holding the sword like it weighs nothing, and her sword is leaning on the arm of the chair, the concrete chair. So we know that he's a very capable guy, right? So I'm just talking about these two energies together. The clouds are definitely the same, right? And you can see, because she has such a great clarity. So, the Queen of Swords is much like the Justice card, the Lady Justice, right? So she's a Libran, as is the Lady Justice. But you can see all the clouds are beneath her, because her head lies up here with clarity and intuition. But his does too. So you see beneath him are all these clouds. So the connection between you and Kay feels highly intuitive, right? And there's a lot of clarity. So this is just the cards that flipped out that I want to say kind of very, very briefly, but overall it feels like, the only thing that I'm wondering is the air and how fast this air is moving. That would kind of tell me how quickly are these thoughts of you passing through Kay's mind. How much? So you're curious how Kay thinks or feels about you. And so what we've got now is what we're going to pick very specific cards about that, right? They were just general cards that flipped out, and I always take note of the cards that pop out. They have a story to tell. So we'll ignore those cards for a little bit, and we'll jump straight into how Kay thinks and feels about you. So we're going to pick one for thinking, one for feeling. How Kay thinks and how Kay feels. This is interesting. So Kay's thoughts about you have feelings in them. So this card makes me feel, right, that the way Kay thinks about you is very different to the way Kay has thought about others. So when Kay sees you, Kay thinks, well, this is a different person to the kind that I'm used to dealing with, because this is a picture of somebody walking away from an old way of feeling. And it may be that Kay's not quite sure what to do with you, right? Because this person's not familiar with how you operate. And it's sometimes, you'll see some people who go into relationship after relationship after relationship, and all the relationships are kind of the same, and there's the same dynamic in them, and but if they meet somebody new and they're sort of saying, oh, I don't quite understand this dynamic because it's not the habit of what I used to do. So this is what I'm thinking, I'm feeling that he's thinking, right? Now, this is thinking. Because again, it's interesting that even though we asked what he's thinking, he's feeling, right, something very different for you than he has before. And I think it has to do with how he's related to others in the past. Oh, I said he. I actually don't know if Kay's a he or a she, so forgive me about that. If Kay, how they feel about you, right? So here is how Kay feels about you, and this is really wonderful. So Kay feels a lot of love for you, a lot of emotion for you. So whether it's love, we don't know, but we assume so because it's the Ace of Cups. And we're going to learn tonight that the cups are all about love and emotion, any kind of emotion. So, for those of us who experience a torrent of sadness or a torrent of, anger or a torrent of shame, this is like, the cup is emotion. And then depending on what you're thinking and feeling, it was, when I created a little advertisement on my Instagram for tonight's show, and it was black. And I quickly put it up because I didn't have much time. And then I thought, oh, that's a bit of a morbid post, because it's so black. How can black and emotions and the cups go together? But we often don't think of the cups as negative emotion. We see them as positive emotion. They're very hot, very, very, very available. They're very emotional cards. We tap into the cups cards. Manifesting Dreams. Hi, Manifesting Dreams. You sure can have a reading. So I'm just in the middle of one now, but if you wanted to donate $10 to PayPal, and I think if you have a look at the description, my email is georgiamarantos@gmail, right? And then if you have Venmo, you can also send in Georgia Marantos. My handle is @Georgia Marantos for Venmo, right? That's Venmo. And you can also pay on my website, which is georgiamarantos.com. You go to the shop and you click on live readings. So just as I was saying, how does he feel about you? He feels a lot about you. I catch myself. Kay feels a lot about you. You have a Cash App? Oh, I don't know what that is. Let me see. I could only take credit card, Venmo, or PayPal. I'm so sorry. But the good news is that 100% of your purchase tonight goes to Friends of Creacon. And Friends of Creacon is a program at Creacon Wellness Retreat, which I highly, highly, highly suggest you go and read a little bit more about. Let me see if I can get some info up for you. We have some time. And I'll make sure I give you the time, Ali, to and here it is. Website. Credit card. You can pay by credit card on my website. There you go, dear. All right. So I think mine. So, okay. Thank you, Manifesting Dreams. So this is back to Ali. Oh, it's a he. Okay, good. The clouds seem to be the same. I'm glad it's a he so that I can just keep going with the he that I've been spilling out. It's been spilling out of my mouth anyway. So we hope it's love, absolutely. But it's a lot of love. So this is in terms of how is he feeling about me? And we got a feeling card and we got the Ace of Cups. So not only do you get validation from the Ace of Cups, but you get lots of good feeling from this card just on its own, right? There's a hand coming out of a cloud and you've got all these yods. So there's a very divine, there's a divine, divine timing, divine intervention with this love and this cup and this overflowing cup. And that's really wonderful, right? So there's only, I think, so we have one before you if there's someone. No, you would go next, Manifesting Dreams. So this is how he feels. Now let's get a little bit, shall we get, because we have the time, Ali, and because we're all here together, let's get a few more details on how he feels, right? Because we know how he thinks. Let's get 1 and 1. We'll add an extra one for thinking and an extra one for feeling. Thinking and feeling, right? So the details are very interesting, right? So now I added in a second card. Now sometimes people get very, when you're learning how to read the tarot, it gets a bit scary when you put 2 cards together because then you're like, oh, hang on, I had it all good. And it was all good when I had one. Now what? Okay, so if I go to what he's thinking, right? So what he's thinking. So remember when I was talking about, well, he doesn't, he's not sure, you relate in a different way to what he's used to. So he's just kind of like, oh, hang on, I don't know how to be around that in his head, right? Now, his feelings tell us different because there's a lot of feeling here. Now, why would the 5 of Wands come in? as an additive. Well, what we've got with the Five of Wands energy is like a shapeshifter, right? So we've got things are shifting for him because he's thinking this way. His feelings are kind of in this limbo, because this literally is limbo. And don't we use limbo? Don't you put a stick out for people to do limbo under? So why don't we look at why is he in limbo, right? If he's feeling this about you, where is this limbo coming from? I think it's coming from this part of him. Oh, thank you so much. So I just got that through. Oh, that's so lovely. So we do have a donation of $10 for someone who can't afford it. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Martha. And so the question is, and I hope this is an okay question to ask, Ali. The question is, why would there be this shifting energy? We already think that it could be because, Kay is thinking, well, I'm not used to this kind of relating before. I'm used to this one kind of relating, right? I've had these serial relationships that are all the same, and this person's very different, and I really like this person, right? But I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to be with it. So let's have a look at the future position. What sits before you and Kay? The promise of fulfillment. So out of all the unlimited potential possibilities, we pull the one card with the rainbow in it, right? Here is a complete family, and this is the tree of life. And so there's a fullness and a fulfillment that happens. The potential for a fulfilling relationship with Kay is here. This is the potential. You pulled this out. We pulled this together. Are you donated? Oh, and Shelley, you did? That's so wonderful. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm going to write everybody down so I don't miss out. So, Ali, what you've got right here, right now, is the potential for something really beautiful. Okay. And what it feels like, because I now have a major arcana, for you to get there, right? It's almost like the both of you pass through a whole new gate together. So it's going to be a new type of relating for you as well as for Kay. For you to get to here, now the Hierophant is the priest, and you can see at the bottom of his feet are two keys that open a new door. So together, you and he are walking through a new door. And I feel that there will be a test in the relationship that will take it to the next level, right? And that'll happen like in a month or so. For it to become a long-term relationship, right, there has to be a little bit of a test. All the cards are really good. Look at these all together. So for anyone who reads the tarot, all of these cards are really great cards. You've got the Ace of Pentacles. You did get the Ace of Cups earlier in terms of how he's feeling about you. There's just this kind of, strange trepidation and kind of limbo effect happening because of the way he's never been with anybody like you before, and you've never been with anyone like him before. So it's you and he are going to go through the eye of a needle together, right, as you go into this fulfilled and fulfillment. Right? And remember, this is the long-term relation. This is the card you want to see when you're asking about relationships, as is this one, which is the Ace of Pentacles. So right now, you've got really good vibrational energy around this relationship, right? So you don't need to have any concern or any worry, right? So you are represented by this person, which is the Two of Swords. So we've been talking about Kay. Now this is you. Where would some of this trepidation come from for you, right? Would this be part of it? Like, well, I've had this experience in the past and I'm a little bit worried about X, Y, Z. And a little bit like Linda's question before. Are you undecided? Is there any indecision for you, Ali? You got, whoa. Ali's like, whoa. Is there any indecision? So I would ask you, are you in two minds? What worries you? We know what Kay's thinking and feeling, and we've seen how the relationship can come together. Clearly there's potential, right? Because the cards are so positive. So here for you, we could say, look at those clouds going right up to his head. Now, why would a cloud go up there? So, and he's a page. So remember, the pages are young. They don't quite know how to hold the sword. Remember, the king was holding it like it weighed nothing. The queen had hers resting on her armrest. And this poor old page is like, it's like flailing in the wind. His hair's everywhere. So, you know, and the trees again are blowing, lots of wind, but the clouds are up there. So what is it that's keeping you a little bit undecided? So we would say, what to do with the indecision? What to do with that? I would go out and have fun. This is what this card's suggesting. Now, I keep forgetting to put my disclaimer in there. I hope you all know that these readings are for entertainment purposes only. I've been reading the tarot for 25 years. I've been reading them for me and for others, and it's always with a sense of you know, love, respect, upliftment, and joy, and handing over the power to the person that I'm reading with and for, because it's your life. You're the one that makes the decisions in your life. And it's like, you know, the cards read the energy right here and now, but the power lies with you to move forward and make any decisions in your life, or really don't ever make any decisions in your life based on what a tarot reader or any psychic reader has told you, because nobody deserves to have that power over your life. Only you have that power. So, you know, I tell people I'm not a medical doctor or a nurse, or, you know, if you have any medical problems, any financial problems, any problems with the law, you contact all the appropriate professionals. And I do have a disclaimer on my website, and I highly recommend you have a read of it. It's very well written, georgiamarantis.com/disclaimer. But you know what we're talking about now is having fun. So I don't know why I saw the fun card and then decided to talk about my disclaimer. But Ali, this card is just saying have fun with it. Completely let go of any indecision. It's clearly going to move ahead, at least in one way. There will be one point where you think, wow, we need to make a decision. We're either going to walk through that door together or we're not. And the best way to do it is to go dancing. Right? Just dance through the door and don't have any worries whatsoever. So this is the card where you're just like, I'm not going to be in my head at all. I'm going to stay in my heart, and I'm just going to know that the path will unfold before me. And if this is meant to be this promise of this long-term relationship, then it will just have to show itself to be so. And completely get out of any, and this is the fun card. This is happiness. This is enjoying time with your friends, enjoying time with Kay without any concern whatsoever about what they're thinking and what they're going, just knowing, hey, this connection has the potential for something really good. And, you know, rest assured, let's have a look. If it's not Kay, right? If it's not Kay, it's someone else, because it's definitely in your future, right? Because you've been there. You've been where there wasn't. You've done your spiritual work. You're in a good place. And this relationship, this meeting on common ground, meeting on the same level, is in your aura. It's meant to be so. So Ali says, yes, I worried things won't manifest, so I'm not sure where things are going to go. Yeah, I would let go of that worry, because in your aura is meant to be that you are definitely meeting someone. Now, Kay and you have that potential, so you can just let go of the worry, and it will either manifest or it won't, but you've got the manifestation happening. You are manifesting a long-term relationship. You got the Ace of Coins and the Knight of Pentacles. These cards indicate a relationship, and it could very well happen with Kay, right? So let go and have fun. It's kind of the same as Linda, right? Have fun. Have fun. And luckily the weather has brightened up so we can all have fun, because it's so sunny and the colors have come out and the trees are exploding in color. So is there anybody here who would love a reading but can't afford it, we have a wonderful person named Martha Keith who has donated a $10 to the Creacon program. And so, Ali, I think I have your name. If I don't, please email me at georgiamarantos@gmail.com and let me know your full name. But I think you sent it to me last time, and I'll make sure that I have your name down. So Shelley and Martha. So let me know if there's someone who's watching who hasn't sort of let me know that they're here. Hey, I know you're working, so you probably don't want to have a reading while you're busy. But if there's someone who can't afford a reading or would like to take Martha's offering of a free reading up, it is there for you. So just let me know. Make a comment. And in the meanwhile, Shelley, you are next. Oh, thank you, Ali. It's my pleasure. So I think Manifesting Dreams may have come first and told me that she'd paid for a reading first. So Shelley, I hope you don't mind. I will. Yes, you're right. Manifesting Dreams. You are next. I just went up the list. Shelley had said hello, and then you told me that you had paid for a reading or that you were just about to. So Manifesting Dreams. I'm going to answer your question right now. You posted your question on PayPal. Okay. Let's have a look. No one's ever done that before. That's exciting. So let's see if I can call that up on my phone. I've only just gotten this organized. Here we go. Oh, Shelley, thank you so much. Oh, and I've got your name here, Ali. That's wonderful. Oh, you've got from Ali. Let's see. Don't see the money. Don't worry. Sometimes it just takes a few minutes for it to show. I don't have a message. Your notes says from Ali. So, sorry, from Ali. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. Now I'm getting confused. Shelley and here we go. Manifesting Dreams. Did you want me to read out the question, or do you want me to keep it? Did you want me to keep it private? Because I could do that, although it might be difficult in answering your question. So I need this ASAP. I'm super stressed. Oh, I'm so sorry, Manifesting Dreams. I know what it feels like to be super stressed. All right, so it's fine. I'm assuming I can go ahead and just do the reading and let people know your question, right? Either way. So my fiance and I are long distance. I do see him a couple of times a month, usually because he's a truck driver. We plan on moving together this year. We are sometimes on and off. Do you see us getting married in June? What's the energy? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at a number of things, right? So, Shelley, you're after Manifesting Dreams. Here we go. So what we'll do, Manifesting Dreams, is we're going to take a card for you and a card for your fiance, right? A card for you and a card for your fiance. So you got the Hermit card. Now, the reason I take a deep breath is because I know the Hermit card very well. The Hermit card is the number 9, and that's my life path number. And so anybody who's walking the path of the Hermit knows that it's a very spiritual-led life and with a lot of stress, right? And it is kind of your it's kind of your calling to make sure that you do the spiritual work. That part of the reason that something hasn't worked out is because you need to dig a little deeper to find out who are you and why are we here. So I'm just going to hang that there for a minute before I fully answer the question. Your partner gets the 7 of Swords, which is the kind of card that I would say, well, no wonder you're stressed, because this is a stressful card. And this is a guy that can make anybody feel stressed. right? Clearly he has a stressful job because truck drivers are working long distance themselves. They're constantly driving. It's a very, very stressful, especially now around he's under, right? So let's just say that what we've got is these two swords that are stuck in the ground, and these are how he thinks and feels about you. And then all the other swords are all his other worries, right? So he's actually got a lot on his mind and a load on his mind, right? So we know that. And now we say, okay, the next question that we have is, and you did say that you're on and off again, right? So, you know, when someone is this laden and this stressed, there's stuff going on for them. Now, do you see us getting married in June? I'm going to pull a card now for you getting married in June. But remember, when you're that specific, it's like, well, if you get the card that says, no, you're not getting married in June, does that mean that you're never getting married? And is June the only month you're allowed to get married in? Can you get married in July? Could you get married in May? Could you get married next June? Does it have to be this June? So, there's this, when you're too specific, then it's very easy to get disappointed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down. I'm going to say, are you getting married, right? So the question is, for the future of the relationship, this is the future card. And are you getting married in June? So I get the Queen of Cups, right? The Queen of Cups. Now, I have to, when I ask a yes and no question and I pull one card, then I have to go off the feeling of the card. This is a very emotional card. So I kind of lean towards the emotional kind of like, it doesn't look like it's going to happen in June. Will it happen at all? So the potential for it to happen is there. So let's have a look at what's creating the what's creating the difficulty around June. Why would it not happen in June, right? Is it you or him? Because we have the potential for marriage, right? But what we want to see is, why is it not happening in June? And does this really matter to you? Maybe you could tell me. So I'm just going to read what you wrote. It's also issues because I have to ask Carl's custody court permission to move, and my ex is saying he doesn't want that. He used to be a little Seven of Swords, but he's been good as far as I know. He's a jokester, etc., but he's been good. Yeah, to me, this card, and everybody knows the Seven of Swords can be, one that doesn't speak the truth very much, and that kind of wasn't what I got from the card. He has a lot on his mind, and he deals with a lot, and the thoughts and the stuff that he deals with affects him significantly, and that would therefore affect you in the relationship. But he's the one hurting himself, so to speak, in this card, right? We are supposed to get married then, so that's why June is that thing. So from this card, I don't know that June is when you are going absolutely 100% going to get married. Is the potential there for marriage? Yes, because we ask, could I possibly get married, right? So there's a yes hanging in the balance. Now, why do we usually have 10 of Cups, Hierophant, and Tower, etc.? Well, because you did mention you've got the on again, off again, right? That's just the reality. When you have an on again, off again relationship, you have things like the 10 of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Tower. So let's just say this one thing. So we were talking about relationship before, and actually tonight's been all about relationship. When two people come together, you have this sense, particularly if it's a very strong connection. We've danced before. There's a sense of, that when two souls are meeting, potentially these souls have met before, particularly if you believe in reincarnation. But even if you haven't ever met before, what happens is you're bringing all this history of relationship, meaning the first ever, if you don't believe in past lives, then you just believe in this life, and there's enough relating that we do in this life, beginning with our parents, and then with our brothers and sisters, and then with our teachers, and then with our boyfriends and girlfriends, and then with the main boyfriends and girlfriends, and the sort of big relationships versus the little ones. And we bring all of that with us into the relationship that we have. So if you think about the ways your parents related, was there any push and pull, and was there any Tower back then? Was there any Tower experience any time up until then? Oh, that's so awesome. Hey, we might spend our whole night doing readings. Isn't that wonderful? But I will make a note to go one through 10, the cups. Thank you so much. Hey, that's wonderful. So does that make sense, manifesting dreams? What I wanted to say was that the reason it keeps happening, because you asked why, the reason it keeps happening is because you and he, right? And he's got a lot of stress, so he's creating, a lot of it for himself and for you, right? This is the card. We bring a lot of this into the relationship, particularly if we haven't worked on ourselves. And to be honest, even if we have worked on ourselves, it sits there as a program. It's a program of, and so you're trying to get a clearer look. Let's get some clarity, right? So if we were to say, okay, your first question was, are we going to be married in June? Right? And we're like, you know what? It doesn't look like it's happening in June. Could the potential for it to happen? Yes, this is a moving ahead card. This is a positive card. This is a movement card. This is, if you think about this card in terms of marriage, you've got the yoni and the lingam and the yoni, which is the male and female. You've got the canopy, which is just like a wedding party. You've got two castles, sort of one on each side, and then meeting in the middle. This is a very positive card with respects to it happening. If I go back up to your original question and we say, where were we? You retracted it was here. Let me go back to it here. So there were two questions. Yes, we are sometimes on. What's the energy? Sometimes we get 10 of Cups, sometimes we get 10 of Pentacles, the Hierophant, the Tower, and the 8 of Cups. So I'm really confused. Yeah. Okay. So the reason that you get that is because it's being manifested in the moment through all the projection of the fears, right? And so I've often spoken about this in the readings, particularly when I look at the past, the present, and the future. What we're manifesting, and that's happening right now, is a direct result of our thoughts, words, and actions from before, right? So the reason that you're getting all of those cards, the 8 of Cups and the Tower and the Disaster and the 10 of Swords, etc., is because it's happened before. And it's hard to wipe the slate clean and have a completely fresh look, because this is the energy and the vibrations that's sitting in the relationship. And what you have right now, if you keep looking at it that way, is you have that projecting into the future. That's why you have the Queen of Cups kind of crying in her cup. She's got her feet in the water and she's like, I don't know if this is going to happen. That's you right now, but you're projecting that into the future. You're projecting that onto June, right? This is you taking responsibility for what you are creating, right? Because you are a powerful being, spiritual being, right? You are a powerful spiritual being. You have come into this world to claim your power of creating and your power of manifesting. This is the wisdom that the hermit has come to teach us, because you are the hermit. So, I mean, I laugh, but I cry, because the hermit is the one that does the hard work to realize, at the bottom of the mountain is all this mire and this stuff that we're dealing with now, all the nitty gritty and the details of life that cause pain and suffering and also cause happiness and freedom. Right, but they're stuck in that duality, right? With pain comes pleasure, with happiness comes sadness. And how do we detach from all of that? Because pain is painful and pleasure is wonderful, but I don't always get it, etc. So out of that duality, right, the on-off again, you have the potential to be in with the hermit, to do the guided meditation, to do the meditation, to sit with yourself in silence, to bring yourself into a place of quiet and peace and calm of mind, so that you can then bring your emotions into peace and calmness. And once you do that, you tap into source. You tap into the energy of your being and the truth of who you are. So this is now coming up out of any questions that have to do anything about the relationship, and pull you straight into, how are you going to get yourself out of continuing to manifest the same thing? 8 of Cups and Tower and stuff. The only way you're going to do it is through this card, recognizing that you are the hermit, that the reason that you've asked the question of me today on this channel is because you needed to hear this, which is that if you do any kind of meditation, any kind of self-work, which helps pull you from a negative mind state into a positive mind state, you need to do more of it, right? So having a reader tell you this is a really good way, because I can, and other people can say, hey, have some of this positive energy. The next step is to do it for yourself. Now, I've been ignoring here. I'm so sorry. I'm going off on a bit of a rant. Are you able to do a spread, or at least pull more cards just to see the total story? I definitely need to keep replaying your message to help me get it right. That's why I'm trying to get a clearer look. Yeah. So what I want to say, and maybe it's worthwhile, if you book in for a fuller reading, because we could probably get that clarity over half an hour as opposed to, say, 10 minutes that we have on the show today. But what I wanted to say is you could use, in order to bring yourself into a better and calmer state of being around the relationship, but even just for yourself. So this is no longer for the relationship. In order to bring yourself into a better state of being and come out of stress into calmness, it's worthwhile doing some guided meditation and to help yourself, right? So you want to come out of your head and even out of your heart, right? Because there's the history of the pain. And you want to come into this place, which is source. You have to go through your heart to get there, right? So you're not avoiding anything, but you're going to sit with yourself in meditation, and you're going to align your chakras, and you're going to do some work which brings yourself into a calm place and state of being. So I'm going to pull one more card. If you were to do that, if you were to bring yourself into a calmer place of being, how would this relationship work for you? Right? I get the 8 of Swords. So there's a very karmic feeling around this relationship and you, right? You would have to say, I'm not going to do any worrying. I absolutely refuse to worry. I'm not going to pick up any of the swords, which are thoughts, right? In order for you to be happy, you'd have to ignore all those thoughts. That's the way for you to get out of stress into a better place and a happier place of being. And it's the thoughts that are creating it, right? It's your thoughts that are creating it. And I had this card. Somebody said this of me for me. I had a reading the other day, and the person said exactly the same thing for me. In order to get into a happier place within the heart, within our state of being, right? In order to reduce stress, we have to get out of our head and into our heart. And the way to do that is through a form of guided meditation. That's what I use. I use guided meditation, right? Do you have any guided meditations? I'm happy if you email me at georgiamarantos@gmail.com, manifesting dreams. I will forward you some links to some guided meditations that I use that I know work really, really well, right? The Queen of Cups could definitely be a yes card, because you've got the Chariot for marriage. Now, whether it happens in June or another month, you've got June, July, August. They're all there. The potential is there. But see, what we were picking up is stress. And remember, stress manifests physically. So it could very well be yes, because remember, we got the Chariot. So what's standing in the way of June is you. Not you really, because you want it to happen, but the stress and the vibration of you. So what you want to do is you just want to clear yourself so that you are completely calm and happy in your being. That's way more important than any marriage, because even walking into a marriage, you want to be your best person version possible for yourself, so that you have an overflowing cup. You don't want to go into something which is a long-term commitment and have an empty cup and expect someone else to fill it. You want to be an overflowing cup. You want to be the Ace of Cups. And when you are the Ace of Cups, you are self-empowered in your own love. right? You say to yourself, I can be with myself. I can love myself with or without you, but I choose to be with you, right? That's marriage. We can walk shoulder to shoulder and we choose to be together. We have our connection to our separate connection to God source energy, and we fill our own cups. We have the way to replenish ourselves without leaning on the other. Because once you start to lean, you become codependent. Once you become codependent, it's messy, right? Because then the other person's not going to feel like filling your cup one day, empty, and then you're going to feel like, well, what, that feels awful, and then you'll get angry at the person who didn't fill your empty cup, right? Because there was an expectation set up that they would fill it up, and it's madness. It's madness. So to save yourself, you have to come into a calmer place of being. And I almost, we were starting up tonight, I thought maybe I'll do a guided meditation tonight, but we have lots of readings and I really want to send the money to Creacon. So I'm going to do it. I can't take any more readings tonight. Thank you to everyone who's donated. I'm going to go down the list because I know Shelley was next. Let's see, we've got Shelley right here. Yep, Shelley. And then Martha, who donated her 10. I think Ali said she would take it. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you, Martha. Ali has a question about her college. Thank you so much, Manifesting Dreams. And I wish you the best, and I really do. And please email me because I will send you the guided meditation links. Here we go. Oh, and Hey Hey's made a donation. Okay. Okay, so Shelley, it's your turn. Tell me, what would you like to ask? Did you want a general reading? I'm just going to go up and see if you have already told me what you wanted to talk about. So Shelley said, hi there, and then not at all. And Ali's going to take the gift from Martha, which is wonderful. Thank you, Martha. And all open, said Shelley. So just an open general reading, shall we? Wonderful. I have my little area here, nice and clear for the cards. So what we have for Shelley is an open reading. So when we do a general, I might just do a 5. I might do the center of the Celtic cross. 1, 2, 3, 4, which includes a past, present, future. Okay. So you are transforming. This is you in the middle. This feels like a highly spiritual card to me because I feel like I'm in church, but this is a kind of church that is, it's your church. And this is your religion, because I see the priest and the flower, right? And this is the center of the Celtic cross. And what crosses you, right, is the challenge is of justice, Lady Justice, right, and Justice. 2 really big major arcana cards. So you are in the depths of transformation, which is really wonderful. Okay, why? Because this is the card for the yagna ceremonies. Do you know the Indian in the Indian Hindu tradition, they burn a fire, and in that, and actually also in the Wiccan, when you burn a fire, you throw into that fire all that's unnecessary, all that's old. And I really feel that for this new age of Aquarius that we've just moved into, beginning in December, Shelley, I'm sure you're very well aware of this, that this new age of Aquarius is calling for us to throw away all those old belief systems. And I know that you've done this, right? Because you're a very spiritual person. Transformation and letting go. And I tell you what sticks, that's hard for us to kind of let go. It's these old thought patterns that we've thought them year after year after year, and we just catch ourselves thinking them again. It was like, oh man, I didn't realize I was still thinking that way, or still holding on to it that little bit. So I feel what you're going to be doing is you're going to be tweaking these beliefs that you have that no longer serve you, and you'll be catching them as they come up, and you'll be cutting them off. And that's what it feels like. It feels like, well, when I think them, you have to be passionately conscious and aware of your thoughts as you're moving through this beautiful transformation that's happening, right? Because remember, can you see in the horizon, on the horizon, we have this wonderful sun and this crown and this beauty that's happening between these two poles, which is the moon card that was in your future position. That's you reaching in the next 3 months. There's a huge spiritual vortex. It's almost like this big opening over spring and summer for you as you're walking this path. And I even see you making plans to travel. So this might be the end of summer, going into fall. So what's happening is that as you move through this you may already be in travel. Actually, now I'm thinking, what do I physically know about you traveling? But there's definitely travel now and in your future, right? This is the future card. And where did we go? So I'm going to stay here with the Death. So what we've got is here. I'm putting down Lady Justice because we understand her. This is the future card, right? And if you see in this corner, you have these two columns, and these are the two columns. So make your eye single. Make your eye single. Be very determined in your capacity to let the old go and fully embrace the new. And in that full embrace, there's no concern about any of the old concerns, right? So where there used to be concern around, any kind of, this is a self-empowered place. This is a place that is I am and I be. And here, as you're walking through the last part before you get right to that the step of enlightenment, right here are all the yods that are falling from this wonderful moon, right? This beautiful moon that is full, and it's waxing, waning, it's moving, but it's full. In its fullness, we've got all this incredible energy coming down, right, to enlighten us just before we walk through into the enlightenment, right, into the enlightenment. So in the next 3 months, what you've got is this letting go happening, and you will be able to catch these moments of where these thoughts are passing through, or these feelings are passing through, and catch them. Because what you've got, the outcome is your the new place is right here in front of you. You've created the happy place. These two go together, right? So these are the future cards. And these are the movement cards. Sometimes it feels difficult to actually catch those, catch that old belief system, but you're going to do it. There's success. There is success. Why? How do I know that? Because in the bottom of the Celtic cross is the Wheel of Fortune. You know how it works. You know which way you want the wheel to turn. You understand alchemy. Yeah, you understand how we tap into our spirit and how we bring the truth, right? The truth of our being, right? You know how to raise your vibration. You know how it feels when your vibration's lowered, and you know how to turn the wheel to get back up. So you have the knowledge, you have the capacity, and you have the ability to move around this wheel with ease. I even see the snake moving with ease. I don't see the snake as anything negative in this. It just feels like, an ease of movement. You can go down and you can go up, and there's no stress. Absolutely no stress. And this was the past, right? This was a new, to me, again, travel. To me, this is a card of recent travel, in the past, recent travel, and also just the newness of this. And in your mind, on top, the consciousness is keeping it all together. And I do feel like on the surface, it is actually kept all together whilst you do this beautiful deep work, right? whilst you do this deep work, everything on the surface is just fine. So it's not, none of this will actually, there won't be any repercussions. You know, you'll be able to do this deep work, this letting go, this conscious catching, right? Catching, because don't we catch lobsters? How do they catch lobsters? Don't they make traps for them, or so that there's something that, you know, they get the trawlers and they rake them? I think that's what you're going to be doing with these old belief systems. You're like, I'm going to get every single one of them, and you're just going to rake the bottom of the ocean and you're going to pull them all out. And it's not that, you know, they're not actually lobsters. These are thoughts that no longer serve you, so they can go, right? And we're talking metaphorically, we're talking symbolically, and it's going to happen in a way that's not going to ruffle you on the surface. So there won't be anyone who looks at you and says, wow, she's going through a hard time. No, everything's going to be fine. Why? In fact, you're going to be dancing a jig like this guy. He's the Sufi card. He's the guy that can spin whilst holding his thumb out, looking at his thumb. He can spin for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and always stay centered. So maintain that center while you move through this incredible transformation period. And that will last like the next 3 months. I really feel that. Let's have a look at the 6-month period, 9-month period. So looking to, you know, even if it lasts, you know, this letting go. And then we have a look at the beginning of 2022, right? Wow, completely different energy, right? Wonderful. Almost a new beginning there. Wow. Lots to look forward to there. Lots to look forward to. It's exciting. Well, my computer was really loud and it was making noises, and now it's gone super quiet. Here she is, the Strength card. We may not even talk about the cups tonight. I don't mind. I hope you don't mind. Has anybody come to learn about the cups, let me know. And then I could always just do a little mini video. I'll just do them next week. Or we might run through them at the end. But this is you. Remember who you are. Remember your connection to nature. Remember your capacity and your strength as you move forward. Thank you so much, Shelley. And best wishes on this incredible transformation. Letting go. Oh, if we could all effortlessly let go. My pleasure, Shelley. So Ali has a question. Ali wins the gift from Martha. Thank you so much, Martha. And we have Ali asking the question. And then, hey, it's you, right? If no one will take the gift, then I will. I would like to know if I will do well this semester. So I have the Moon card. Now, I shuffled all these cards and got the Moon card again. So how will you do this semester? It's the Moon card. It might be a little touch and go, right? You're going to do well, right? But it's a bit like, I don't know if you're one of these kind of studiers where you cram a little bit at the end. So it's not until you have that deadline or that due-in date or that exam date that you kind of then start putting all that effort in. But this is what's happening. You've got the walk up until that point feels really difficult and really hard, and you're like dragging your feet, but then you get there. You get there, right? How well will you do? What does that mean? Are you thinking about pass, credit, what's the other one? Distinction. This is what I remember from the college, my college days. Pass, credit, distinction. You have the capacity to get a distinction, so you could do really well, right? I definitely see you passing, right? This is the pass. This is the credit. This is the distinction. You have the capacity to do distinction. Are you working up to your capacity? So there you go. You have the potential. Now we're pulling into the unlimited potential. What do you need to do right now to get yourself to that point? You've got 2 aces. Ali, were we pulling aces for you before, for you and Kay? Because here are those aces again. They're glued to you. So you have the potential to do really, really well. And actually, all you have to do is just keep your eye on the goal, because this is the goal and this is the pathway to the goal. Both aces, really positive cards. This was super simple. Ali, this was super simple. So Martha benefits. Don't worry about it. I think part of the thing is we often entertain thoughts that take up our mind space, right? The idea of failure, or the idea that we're not doing good enough, or, we can't find the motivation to do something. It takes up so much time and space in our head that we're wasting our time. We're wasting our space. We shouldn't give so much space and time to the concerns or the worries, right? Because we have the capacity to do what we need to do. So then it's like, well, how do I get rid of the resistance to do anything? And I think that's the whole battle. The whole battle is the resistance. Why am I resisting this? Why am I resisting doing what I know I need to do to get 100 out of 100? Or, to do really well? Why am I doubting myself when clearly I have the capacity to do really, really well? Why am I doubting? Maybe there's too much time. Maybe we're not grounded enough. I'll tell you how I get grounded. I take this big mat, which I've bought from earthing.com. If you haven't watched the movie, the film Earthing, the Earthing movie, please do. It changed my life. I now earth as much as possible, and I try to keep myself grounded overnight. I sometimes forget. But discharging, so this would be for manifesting dreams too. If you could ground yourself, that will really help stress. That's what meditation does, really. It grounds you. And if you can use one of these earthing mats, so on YouTube, search the Earthing movie, right? The Earthing movie is what you want to search on. And it's for free. They've uploaded the whole Earthing movie for free on YouTube, and it's extraordinary. It's all about taking off your rubber-soled shoes, which don't connect you to the earth anymore, and connecting with Mother Earth. Because what happens as soon as you connect with the ground, the dirt, the ground, the physical ground, the grass, the dirt, you immediately, all of that positive inflammation and pain discharges, it just disappears. It's gone. And they've done research study after research study. These are, these are like proper scientific studies, double-blind controlled studies, where people who ground are less inflamed, even after a short period of time grounding. There are people who are reporting who've had back pain for years. They ground for 2 hours and they no longer have back pain. I think it's just as important for mental health, right? And so I ground for mental health. I probably don't ground enough for my mental health. So grounding is super, super important. They did like a study on children with autism in a school that had autistic children, and the children concentrated better and were able to hold their attention and focus for a lot longer after being grounded, right? So that's what I do. I don't know how that came up again. I'm getting so burned out from trying. You have the capacity. Oh, I'm so sorry you got sick from COVID. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, that will really hit you in that tiredness level, right? You'll still do it. You're meant to do this course. You're meant to succeed in this course. You're meant to pass in this course. It's more that you have a high standard for yourself, that you want to reach that level, but you have the aces right behind you, Ali, so you're definitely going to do well. Hey, I'm giving you an overall spiritual reading. I'm going to pull one card because I trust that Spirit will give us the information for you. Spirit, right? Because Hey wanted to know. Yeah, Ali, making time to go outdoors, taking your shoes off, sticking your feet in the earth is going to help you even from the post-COVID stuff, right? COVID will work as a virus. It's a virus, right? So any like strong virus will hit the gut system and the immune system. In order to get your immune system back up, you want to connect back to the earth, reduce your inflammation. So this is a card now for Hey Hey. And I'm just going to go back up to Hey Hey, and I think here she is. I made a donation. I would love a message from Spirit. My life has been busy lately, a little overwhelming, but all good. Yeah, I know you have little ones, Hey Hey. It does keep you busy. So I need you to know that you have a strong connection to Spirit. I think we've maybe talked about this before, but this is such a strong, for me, these coins feel like spirit around you. And when it gets busy, we just don't have that time to sit and connect. And I've got to tell you, I've been only doing like 5 minutes a day of connecting with my spiritual guidance. But if you can do that, if you can connect with your spiritual guidance, you're going to feel so much better. Now, do you have, what do you believe in? Do you have a connection with angel guides? Do you have a connection with the ascended masters? Do you have a connection with otherworldly beings such as the Arcturians? And there are some obviously very positive ones. The Arcturians are the ones that I know and connect with and can vouch for, because they used to be connecting to Edgar Cayce, who is a psychic medium who worked with the Akashic Records and was an incredible medical intuitive. You can read all about him, Edgar Cayce. So the reason I say this from a spiritual perspective, I think you're connecting with Spirit and with your spiritual guides will help you feel so much better, right? And this is like the energy coming down from them to you. Right now, obviously, this is who you are because you're standing upright, but this is the energy that's coming down to you. So I see that happening for you, right? Can you do that? Well, you have family. You can do it. You might have to walk away to get that time to yourself. You have to carve it out. You have to carve out the time for yourself so that you can do this, right? Because it's essential that you give to yourself. It's a bit like when we were talking before for manifesting dreams. Like, how do you fill your own cup? How do you do it? Is it time with nature? Is it going for a walk? Is it painting a painting? You have to carve out that time. When you have children, you're going to have, between whenever they wake up and to whenever they go to sleep, if you're at home with them, or whenever you're at home with them, if you're not working, when you're at work, you have to work. You don't have time for yourself there. When you're at home, you have your family. So you have to carve it out. So it's either when you come back from work or before you wake up in the morning, before you go to work, but somewhere you have to plug in and connect, right? And you have to do that when you're not with looking after the children. And so I'm just going to come back up, hey, because I want to, because life has been busy. And when it's overwhelming, it's extremely difficult. Let's have another look. So this is a card that for me means guru. It's the Hierophant. It's a spiritual teacher. He connects with the High Priestess. You see he's sitting on a chair. There are two columns, albeit they are the same color. They still connect with the High Priestess in that he holds spiritual knowledge and understanding. So the message is coming through that you really do need to connect with either a physical spiritual teacher or a spiritual teacher that you have found, that you're attracted to or communicate with on the internet. And there are so many. I mean, there are some people who connect with spiritual teachers who have passed. For example, Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda, if you've ever read the book, The Life of a Yogi, or Eckhart Tolle, or, so it just depends on what you're attracted to, right? But I do see you spending time here with the teachings of a teacher, right? And that's going to help you because it's helped me. I can say that in this lifetime, I've been lucky enough to have a spiritual teacher and to gain a lot from my contact with this spiritual teacher. And if this card comes up for you, this card indicates you would benefit a lot from contact with the spiritual teacher, and that's something that's in you. You're a spiritual person, I know, and you're capable of doing, the sort of readings that I'm doing. You're tapped in intuitively. You have the guidance that's sitting there ready and waiting. to be with you, to work with you, to give you the energy that you need. And here is the teacher, the sign of the teacher. So you can manifest them. So you could just say to the, if you don't have a teacher now, you could just say to the universe, I pray for my teacher to manifest, and I want it to become clear who my teacher is. And you see the Hierophant has the power of manifestation in the repetition of threes. So this is a 3-tiered crown. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 pins at the top of the crown. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 prongs to his to the wand that he's holding. 1, 2, 3. These also look like Shiva's prongs, right? He is got 3 crosses, 1, 2, 3, on his chest. On his lapel, and there are 3 people, 1, 2, 3. So this repetition of 3 says that you will manifest this teacher, and it will come to you. It will come to you, hey, and it will be really clear to you once you do that. Once you do that, you will have the understanding, this is what I need to do to find that sort of peace and calm in my life, right? So you'll just follow their teachings. And all of the teachings point to the same thing. We need to get out of our head, or at least control our mind in order to quieten it down so that we can allow the connection to source and spirit through our heart. And when we connect through our heart, we feel much better. We're more even. There's equanimity. There's non-attachment, but a lot of compassion, because we've come out of that very noisy part of our existence, which is the mind. And as humans living in this very industrial world and this very sort of technical world, we're overwhelmed with, the need to be thinking so much and doing so much. Do we have 5 minutes? Just 5 minutes. Let's do the cups. We'll run through them. It's so much fun. I'll just pull them out. If you have them and you want to go through them with me, just pull them out. I'm just going to take them out of the deck. We've talked about a few of them tonight. We saw the 6 of Cups. We saw the 8 of Cups. We saw the Ace of Cups. We saw the Page of Cups, although we won't do the pages, and we'll just do the 1 to 10. So remember what I've said about the 1 to 10 before stands true for the cups. So the 1s are new beginnings, the 2s are choices, or challenge, or a bit challenging. The 3s are manifestation and joy. The 4 is stability, foundation, sort of finding balance again. The 5s are challenge, right? The 6s are finding stability again and coming into a place of well-being, success often. The 7s are like more. Hang on, we forgot about this. Let's add this into the mix. The 8s are accumulation and an overwhelmment of energy. And the 9s are almost completion, right? Because it's the end of the cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I decided that I used to do giveaways, but because in these 2 months I'm offering up all the proceeds to Friends of Creacon, I'm just dropping the giveaways. I hope you all don't mind. When you pay your $10, that $10 will go straight to Friends of Creacon, and that exchange that you receive, you'll receive the good energy from Creacon. There's a real true exchange there. So it's win-win for everybody, really. I love being in service in this way. And I don't feel, here we go. And I feel the exchange is good. That makes me feel good. Oh, we've lost the number 10. So let's just do 1. Here we go. So we're at the 1. We have the Ace, right? And we have this symbol, right, on the cup, which indicates it's in the name of God. At least I believe it is. I could be wrong. So remember, cups used to be cauldrons. So the use of the cup and the symbol of the cup that symbolized, it was nurtured the family, because that's where you cooked your food. It was also where the medicines were made. If you look at pharmacists, he would use the pestle and mortar. Switching up the letters. The pestle and mortar, where you've got an open cup and you're grinding all the herbs and the medicines and the drugs. So this open vessel is really important. It's very feminine. So remember, the swords and the wands are very yang, a very masculine energy, and the cups and pentacles have a very yin, a very feminine energy. And what we've got is this incredible symbol of the dove, right? The white dove of peace, and the now I've forgotten the name of it, but the round cookie. I'm lost for words. Learn to read tarot. Hold on, I'll find it. Someone can tell me. Lauren, how are you? So nice to see you. Trinity, neutrality. Ah, yes, thank you so much. Here we go. Learn to read. So I'm just pulling up something for myself now. The Ace of Cups. It's not a tablet. It's called something else in the Christian religion. When you go to the priest, here it is. The wafer. Good Lord. It's meant to be the body of Christ. So this is the wafer that represents the body of Christ. This is the Holy Spirit. This is the body of Christ. And as this is, as this enters, right, there's a Christ consciousness happening. There's a divinity happening. And then you have this overflowing of emotion, which is love, right, and connection, because we're connecting through spirit here, through our heart, and we have this overflowing connection. And so that's what this represents. And there's a lily pond, which really does indicate, remember the lotus in the Tibetan religion, the Om Mani Padme Hum is the jewel in the heart of the lotus. And the lotus is the flower that comes up through the mud to release this incredibly beautiful flower. And we have to give we have to honor the difficult times, the times when we're feeling stressed, because it's only having that contrast of stress can we really appreciate our joy and overflowing joy. That's what this card is, overflowing joy and love, right? And as we heard earlier, it was an expression of how someone feels for you, right? And how you want to be when you meet someone, right? You want to be that overflowing cup just in your own presence. Now, the Two of Cups is when you meet someone else who has an overflowing cup, right? Here you have a meeting. So here's a two where you're meeting someone who's exactly like you. And this is a meeting that's happening with the, in the Indian tradition, you have the chakra system, right? This is the 7 chakra system with the 2 channels, the Pingala and the Inda. I can't remember the names, but you have the left and the right of the spinal column, and then you have the Sushumna channel up the middle, through which you get enlightenment, which is what this, so this union between these 2 beings who are holding these cups, which we assume are overflowing because it's just come from there, is extraordinary. There's it's like fireworks happening. And so whenever this card comes up, it means a relationship or a business venture that is going to be very, very good, right? So this is when the 2s indicate union of 2, the union of the 2. Sometimes you have the clash of the 2 in duality, but here you have the union of the 2 creating the 1. And there's, there's success. They're both wearing wreaths. And there's a tenderness of approach, and there's more coming because of the stage. Remember, we've talked about the stage. So this is the beginning of the relationship. Now we have the 3, which is manifesting more joy, more joy. You've got 3 people with their overflowing cups. So there is abundance now. We are seeing abundance. This is the harvest. We have women who are, the 3 Venuses who are enjoying themselves. They're holding these fruits and they're full overflowing cups. So there's a real beautiful blending of all of this wonderful energy. Here in the 4s, we have, hang on. here is this hand coming out of the sky, and it's offering you this overflowing cup, and you're not seeing it. So remember, the fours are either about stability, or in the Four of Coins, which we're going to see, and the Four of Cups, we've got, hold on, this is like, we've gone from feeling really happy and quite joyous through the Three of Cups, and also the Three of Coins, which we'll note next week is all about creativity and collaboration, right, and manifestation, to the fours where we're like, hang on, I've got 3 cups here. I don't know what to do with them. And wait a second, there's one. So there's almost like, to me, a sense of confusion or closed offness. This person is not seeing the divinity, right? They've gone into a place of, they've gone from joy to kind of a serious contemplation. And then the Five of Coins follows. The 4 and the 5 are a little connected, right? So here is he looking at these 3 cups, which are upstanding, but then they spill. And we're like, oh, hold on, they've spilled. So he's gone from, contemplation, not connecting to spirit, to completely disconnecting and only looking at the spilt milk. And here is life kind of passing this person by who's choosing to be, choosing to kind of wallow in the sorrow of these cups. Meanwhile, behind him stand 2 other cups. So you have 3 and 2, make 5. And the 5s are always the challenge. The challenge is, are you going to continue to look at these 3 spilt cups, or are you going to turn around and have a look at the 2 that are upright, that remain there for you to pick up and continue on your journey? Because if you do continue on your journey after that, you have the stability of the 6. And here you have family, fun, relations, and abundance. The Eucharist. Thank you. It's the cookie, the Eucharist. Thank you. That was the Ace of Cups. Lauren Fox just let me know what the name of it's called, right? And we're at the 6 of Cups, and we've come back to some form of balance. And in this balance, you have the 6 cups, and there's so much that's being, these are gifts. And this is often indicative of family relations and giving and receiving. So kind of like Christmas, the card of Christmas. The 7s and the odd numbers always take us into, a place of ill at ease. So we've got emotional confusion. We don't know what we want, and we're in the shadows. So this is now us being in the darkness. We don't know what we want. We're not sure if we're going to reach for success. We don't know if we're going to be successful. We don't know how to feel. We don't know if we're going down that slippery slope, or if we're being deluding ourselves. And we've got this hooded figure, which could be Christ, like a Christ-like figure, because remember, a lot of the Christian symbolism is in these cards. Then we have beauty, right? Beauty. Are we going to spend all our time looking at ourselves in the mirror? Here are the dragons, nipping at our heels. Success. Do we want money? Do we want to have a house? So we're almost like, where do we put our heart? Where do we put our emotional attention? We don't know how to feel. So this is a card of sort of emotional confusion. And then after that, the best way to deal with some emotional confusion is to completely walk away from all of it. And that's why we were talking about the 8 of Cups earlier as being a way of dealing with too much emotion, right? So 8s are always too much of something. It's a building up or a snowballing of something, and in the negative. Whereas, and we've got the eclipsing moon, right? This is the sun and the moon eclipsing, and we have all these rocks, big boulders and obstacles. How are we going to, should we just walk around them? And this path that this person is taking now, the boulders are much smaller. So we could say, you know what? This is a really good way to deal with too much emotion. You just walk away with it. You don't even let yourself go there. And here you have too much emotion, but of the positive kind. And then I couldn't find the because we had the rainbow one. I think they got pulled out for someone. The 10 of Cups is one of the happiest cards in the deck, because there's a rainbow of cups with all the happy family and the wonderful scene with the house nearby and the river and the children dancing and the family you know, holding each other and hugging each other. And I'm going to try to find it. I can't find it. But this is the Nine of Cups. Very happy with himself. You know, I used to laugh in this one because it looks like he just could be, you know, at the pub. It's a very high bar, but he's got all his cups lined up. Oh, here it is. And remember, we go from this semicircle to this rainbow, right? And so this is always a card that's, you know, both of these cards indicate a positive outcome. And the nines always have a single figure. The tens, you know, usually have, you know, a lot going on. Like there's a maximum in the cups and the pentacles. You have like a family scene. And this indicates success, completion, and this too is completion, right? And a culmination. Often too much of one thing, but he doesn't look like he's manic or, you know, particularly perturbed by his excessive happiness. In fact, he's had to maybe cross his arms to kind of calm himself down, but he's very happy. This is a great card. That's the 1 to 10. We did it. We did it in 14 minutes. It took me a little longer, but that's the 1 to 10 cups. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you to everybody who donated. Your money is going straight to Friends of Creacon. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. That's $60 that's going straight to Creacon. I'm so happy for all of you. Your names will go down on that, and you will get a great exchange. And I will let you all know when I do that. I'll send you an email, right? Thank you all for being here tonight. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week. And we will do the Pentacles, 1 to 10 of the Pentacles, and whoever's here will enjoy our time again. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Oops. I've just put my calculator on. Bye. See you. If you want a reading, georgiamarantos.com.